So I'm having a chat with Jack and Jack. How are you both?
We're great.
Amazing. Thanks for having us on, Jim. Appreciate you.
Pleasure is all mine. We've been playing a new single of yours called "Losing You." Tell us a bit about the single.
Well, first off, thanks for playing it. We
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you.
that. And yeah, this single, it was more of like a slow tempo. We kind of were calling it a soft single for this upcoming project, Symbiosis. And we kind of wanted to tap into more of our somber Jack and Jack side. And I don't know, it's sort of like a heart tugger. It's about knowing that when you leave somebody, it's going to be better once you get out of this situation, but just how difficult that can be to do sometimes, you know?
Well said.
Yeah, and I don't know, is there anything else you want to add about it?
No, I mean, not specifically about the song, but kind of touching on what Johnson said about it being a soft single. Our fans have been so patient with us over the years. And, we've just kind of gotten back into releasing music over the last 12 to 18 months, putting out our second album last year. And we just wanted to kind of like ease them back into the release process because we haven't released since the album. So 8 months had passed and we were like, you know what, let's put out this chill vibe, Losing You.
Nice sing along vibe.
And then let's hit them over the head in April with some big stuff. So we got a lot of cool singles coming out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. How's the music sounding? The stuff that's on its way as well.
I mean, it is. We're so excited about it, and it's. I would say if I had to put a label on it, it's like definitely in the pop lane, but very true to who we are at the same time. And it's. I mean, it's just great. It's very exciting for us because we're independent for the first time in 7 or 8 years. So
yeah, and I think another fun thing about this project that we've been kind of bouncing around the idea of is having not just all Jack and Jack songs on here. They're all going to be under the Jack and Jack umbrella and listed under the album as Jack and Jack, but the second single is going to be a more G-centric single where like I was producing behind the scenes and helped write it, but it's just going to be him singing on it. And then the third single is going to be a more J-heavy single. And so we kind of wanted to have, instead of an A side, B side, a J side, a G side, and then the Jack and Jack side, which will be the vast majority of the project. But we wanted to give our, I guess, more individual character to the project as well. So yeah, that's what we're really excited about on this. And yeah, it's going to be a nice slow release of singles up until the end of the year when the whole project gets unveiled. And we just want to feed the fans, after a lot of years of no music, we want to stay consistent. We made a vow to them and to ourselves to never take our foot off the gas again, after waiting through all of the industry nightmares we've been through. And so, yeah, we're just super excited for this Symbiosis chapter for sure.
Yeah, I can well imagine. And as you mentioned, it is the first time you've been independent for a while. What's it like being back doing stuff for yourself rather than having to please the labels, as it were?
We were always
Night
so
and day.
grateful to be on the labels, just like the fact that anyone saw that value in us and as a label artist. And there's no hate on that side of things, but we are just so excited to have full creative control and just control of everything that we do and everything that we put out and everything that we put out on social media, even not just songs. And so
It's liberating for sure.
it's very liberating, and it just feels very authentic and genuine, everything we do. So I think that's just all a plus.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. And I'd like to talk a bit about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
So, I mean, going back to Losing You, this first single we dropped, we actually had our first writing camp up in the mountains of California in this place called Big Bear. And we took 4 or 5 days out of the week, and we brought some of our favorite collaborators, producers, engineers, our guitar player, Steph, who has played live shows with us a bunch in the past, our manager and drummer, Roberto. The drums you actually hear on it are they're a cajon drum, which he actually plays live during our acoustic set. And it was our first time getting our live band incorporated into a record, which was very cool.
Yeah, with Losing You.
And we honestly went in with no expectations. We already had a decent amount of the project done, and we wanted to, find those final few songs. And Losing You, we had, well, I don't want to necessarily give away the names yet, but 3 or 4 songs that are going to be on the project came from that writing camp. And this one specifically, it started with a guitar lick that Steph, our guitar player, had sent us a voice note while he was traveling up to Big Bear. He's like, I don't know if you guys want to start toying around with this guitar loop or this guitar lick idea, this progression, and we loved it. And so we had him track it properly once he got there on the second day. And then I feel like it kind of just evoked the lyrical content just by like the feel of what the guitar loop brought that Steph created. And
but I feel like it varies from song to song for us.
sure.
We just kind of go based on vibes, and if we're feeling something, we'll just start we kind of just
I will
we,
say,
we get on the mic and we kind of just
yes, that's what I was gonna say.
spitball melodies, and then once we have melodies, we kind of are like, oh, we really like this melody, like let's see where it fits in the song, and then we kind of go from there to nail down a concept of what the song is about or what we're feeling that day, and then lyrics are kind of the last thing that come.
Yeah, we always feel like the first thing that sort of elicits a response, you want to get that on the microphone before you think about it too much, in terms of like, the melodic pathways that we choose to take. And so we always just will, all right, G will do a take, maybe 2 takes, and then we'll just see what we like from that. And then I'll hop on there and I'll do a couple takes more in my vibe. And then we were with these writers, Chris and Ben, and we would let them hop on the mic and see if anything came from them. And then we kind of make this little cesspool of melodies, and then we kind of figure out where we want to go and what feels like, okay, this could be a great opening verse vibe. I would love what you did there in this one section. Mm-hmm. And then we'll pick that out, we'll place it there, and then we'll start harping on that section to find the actual lyrics. But it's a very collaborative process, and that's what's great about working with people that you're close with and that you trust, and as opposed to being just thrown in the room with writers, how we kind of were on the label. And a lot of them were great, a lot of these writers that we were just chucked into rooms with. But I think having like close collaborators that you already have a rapport with, and you can just like talk openly and freely, and there's no like introductions that are taking place on the same day you're trying to write a hit, I think it makes it a much more just natural process for us. And so, yeah, it's been just like, it feels like it's the most us that it's ever been, which we're just very grateful for.
Yeah, good. And touching on the lyrics as well, how easy do you find it to create the lyrics to the music and the melodies you've created?
I mean, sometimes they come so quickly, sometimes you don't even have to think that hard about it, or like something that G will sing in a freestyle. It's like, oh, you kind of said something there, and we already feel like that could be a good, base to go off of, like whatever you said in that line.
That's always the nicest when it comes out just in a freestyle, because then you don't have to put the effort in trying to nail down the exact syllables and the exact words. It's just like a free flow of thought, that you just are able to capture, and it ends up being a great song.
But other records on the flip side, take a lot more time. We'll be harping on a certain section for hours, and then we'll have to step away from it because we don't feel like we've quite had it. So, it definitely is on a song-to-song basis. But I feel like with our process and the people we've been working with, we try not to put like time constraints on things. There doesn't feel like it's the pressure of, oh, you have this room booked for like a 6-hour session, and then you have to leave, and like we only have it for this one little chunk of time, this window of time. We've just been working like, in our homies' home studios, and like at our house, me and G will come over and we'll just record on something we made or produced in the studio like earlier that week. And so we like to not have a pressure-filled situation, and I feel like that's when the best stuff tends to come out,
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned about collaborating, obviously in the writing studio, but you've been featured on a lot of artists' tracks as well. I think the biggest is obviously Jonas Blue, but you've done many others as well. How do these kind of artist collaborations come about?
Yeah, well, with Jonas, we were, that's one thing we were grateful for the label for, because they had the relationship with Jonas's label. I'm not sure which he was on at that time, but then the higher ups just had relationships with each other, like his manager or his agent, or maybe it was his A&R and our A&R. And we were kind of completely out of the loop on that relationship actually coming together. But obviously, once we got in the room with Jonas, we hit it off immediately. That's still one of our really good friends. And we talked, just brought us to Japan last April. So we're so grateful for him. But in general, I feel like collaborations come in the industry more from those kinds of relationships, like, a label doing a favor for another label, or maybe it's 2 artists reaching out to their team and saying, hey, I really want to work with that artist, and they make it happen. But when you're independent, I mean, it's all about just
relationships,
genuine, connection, I think.
Yeah, like the few features we had on our last project, those were just like some of our best friends from our hometown who also happen to make music. And, we never, I feel like we always want them to come about in the most natural way possible. So like on the Jonas side of things, that one was a bit more contrived in a sense, but we ended up forming a very close relationship with him, and that song definitely opened a lot of doorways for us. And so I think in the kind of state we're in now, we were talking about, since we went over to Japan, potentially doing some sort of Japanese or Korean remix of one of our songs, which we're kind of in the works of like reaching out to some people now. But yeah, it's really just a matter of, team connections, and then us just working with the people that we naturally already have a rapport with and are comfortable with. And so we always want the features to feel as natural as possible. But if they come about in a way and we're like, oh, this song feels like it could be big, or this feels like a cool opportunity that we shouldn't pass up, we would never shy away from that at the same time. So
Yeah, I'm sure. You're currently mid-tour. You've done some UK dates so far. How have those been?
I mean, they've been amazing.
phenomenal.
And honestly, like every night has just gotten better and better. And I feel bad because we started in Dublin. I don't want anyone to think that that doesn't mean
Dublin
that
was great. Yeah,
like love Dublin. We love Dublin. It was a great show. But then Birmingham was just amazing, and then Manchester was like insane, and then last night in London it was just unreal. So
the cherry on top.
yeah,
Sure.
like every single show has been so much fun, and we've enjoyed every song that we've performed, every minute of every single concert.
And we were like, yeah, it's been 6 years. Are they still going to show out? Are they still going to be singing the songs the same way they were? And it's crazy because it seems like, in a weird sense, being away for that long like makes the people coming to the shows that much more grateful that we're finally back.
Yeah.
And so there's this little like uptick in energy that we honestly didn't expect. And yeah, I mean, the London show last night was a great way to end the UK dates, and we're already talking with our agents about getting something planned for 2026. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah, nice. You've still got a couple of weeks left across Europe, but there's not much else booked in the diary. What is your plans for the rest of this year?
Yeah, so we finished booking our North American tour. I guess it's more of just a United States tour because we're not going to Canada or Mexico, but we're going across the United States in the fall, which we're going to release our dates officially, I think right after.
I think end of this month or early May.
We don't have an exact date on when we're releasing, but we're excited to get those on sale, and we're super excited to go back to the US because that's our hometown. That's not our hometown, our home market though, and it's a place we love touring, and we love seeing our US fans, and they showed out last year on the No Place Like Home tour, so we're really excited to get back. We're doing slightly larger venues there, which is gonna be awesome. And then
definitely trying to get over to Asia this year for a small run. Asia, Australia,
and even
potentially Latin America too. We have not been there in about 9-10 years, so we always get a lot of come to Brazil, come to Argentina, come to Chile. Some of these places we were at years ago, and so we definitely want to make it up to them after being away for so long. And then in the midst of all that, just the music with Symbiosis.
Yeah,
we're dropping a single every 5 to 7 weeks. That's kind of our game plan. And just to keep having them fuel each other, so they can see like where it started, and then like we the whole plan is just for us to give each single enough time to properly breathe, to properly promote it, and then have it all unveil right around when the US tour is supposed to kick off in September. And so really just like locking in those final records, making sure there's no stone left unturned in terms of the production, the final background vocals, the little amendments we need to make when we get off the road here, and just trying to get that project a ribbon tied on it. And so that's kind of the short-term goal for the rest of 2025 for sure.
Yeah, nice. Is there anywhere you've not been to yet that you want to get to at some point?
I mean, we definitely want to go over to China. That's one that I know is like almost at the top of our list. China, Japan, I mean, Korea would be great. And
I want to do more Latin American markets. I know we went back in 2015. We did, I think, Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. And so we've still never done any shows in Mexico, which I know we have a solid market there.
That's crazy. We've never done Mexico.
The Philippines seems to be like one of our top streaming areas as well.
There's a lot of Asian markets that like we're dying to get to, and they do really well for us on Spotify and Apple Music and all these streaming platforms. So
anywhere they'll have us, anywhere people will show up, we are dying to get there. So it just feels good to get back on the road after such a long time off.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. It's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Oh, it's been so great, Jim. Thanks
Likewise,
so much for
Jim,
having us.
Appreciate you. Yeah, seriously.